What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're doing a build breakdown on my 99 S15 Silvia Spec-R. And before we get into all that good stuff, I wanted to give you guys a little background on myself. So by trade, I'm an aircraft mechanic. And in the aviation industry, we pretty much log everything. Maintenance, inspections, service that gets done, everything that gets done to the aircraft gets put in that aircraft's maintenance logbook. And since I've been doing that for a while now, that habit has kind of followed me into my everyday car life. So I wanted to show you guys the maintenance logbook I made for my S15 and how I use that to keep my build dialed in and stay on top of everything that's been done, any issues I've been having. So without further ado, here it is. Here's the maintenance logbook I made for my S15. Starting with the front, in this section I just kind of keep the authenticity cards and instructions that come with anything I buy. So a lot of times with Nismo parts, they come with these authenticity cards. So I keep those up here in the front, just easy to get to. And then the history section I made is the work that I've done to the car. So I keep track of date, mileage, description, and when anything I did might be due again. I'll show you the next page. There's not much in here yet because I've only had the car about a year. Speaking on like if I've had issues with the car, like down here, my fuel gauge, it was stuck at half for a while. So I ended up removing the sender. I cleaned it and adjusted the needle. It was all good. And then for myself, just troubleshooting later, I wrote down the notes of what I did when I was troubleshooting. So I went to the maintenance manual for the S15 and it said the ohm readings you should get from your sender at full 4 to 6 ohms, at half it should be 30 to 36 ohms. And then at empty, you should read 0 to 93 ohms. So I put that in there and then I wrote down the actual numbers I got. Next section here, maintenance. I printed out just various parts of the maintenance manual that I might be able to use down the line. So if I'm looking for torque specs on something, this has all the torque tables of the various sized hardware on the car. Different types of clips and retainers that are used on the car. If I break something, I could go in here, find it quick and order a new part. And then on to the lubricant section. I've got engine oils, coolants, gear oils that you need when you're doing changes. And then I also printed out the noise vibration harshness guide. So if the car is making some funny sounds, I'll open this book up, go right here, and then just kind of use it as like a quick troubleshooting guide. And then towards the back, I keep my receipts. This is just a full parts list of everything I've done to the car from when I owned it to the current date. And then all the receipts for everything I bought go behind it. You know, lets me know how far in the hole I am. On to the suspension and chassis mods. For suspension, we have Stance XR1 coilovers, full Nismo bushings and arms, front and rear, Nismo subframe and diff bushings. I did the GK Tech subframe reinforcement kit, their tension rods, their front and rear sway bar end links. Moving on to interior, I have a Nismo gauge cluster, all new center console, lid, shift boot, bezel. You can still get the center console bits from Nissan. I did a Yashio factory shift knob, and then for the short shifter, I went with a C's short shifter I found from a guy on Facebook Marketplace. I'm happy with it. I like how technical it feels when you're shifting. I also got a Nismo reinforced clutch bracket. I hear if you do like a lot of clutch kicks with the OEM bracket that's in it, they're known to break. So pulled the old one out, put the Nismo one in, and I still have the original. I ended up just reinforcing it myself, you know, just welded on some extra metal supports and stuff like that. And painted it. So I guess if anyone needs one, hit me up. I'll hook you up with it. Drivetrain, I did the Super Copper Mix clutch from Nismo, the Nismo pivot release. For engine and transmission mounts, I went with Hard Race. From one of the reviews, or a couple of reviews I read, people were saying they're like a carbon copy of the Nismo ones. So I kind of saved money there and went with the Hard Race instead of the Nismo for that. For engine stuff like intake, exhaust, the car came with a Nismo muffler, which I'm pretty happy with. It sounds good. I have a HKS SQV 4 blow-off valve, HKS, like that green pod filter, Tomei turbo exit, It definitely helped with the car's pickup, like its acceleration, because the OEM one is like super restrictive, like it's tiny. And when I did that, I also remade my mid-pipe. So I just made a bunch of pie cuts and adapted them onto the end of the turbo exit. So the car is definitely a lot louder, or decently louder than what it was when it was full factory exhaust. For wheels, I went with the Volk C28s, and they're a 17x9 square set plus 21. And I went with the 17x9 just to have more wiggle room, because the S15s they're like the most skinny of the S chassis, and I wanted them to sit really flush without having like a whole bunch of camber. Exterior, I found a local paint shop down the road from me. Their name's Christian Auto Body, for anyone who's in Maryland. They did a great job. I've got no complaints. The front bumper is an Aerolux front bumper. I have a JDM Garage UK wing on the back. I went with that one just because it was in my budget, and I liked having the center leg delete. And then when I got it resprayed, I found someone on eBay who was selling the Nissan dark badge set. So it came with the Silvia on the rear trunk. That was it's like a black chrome, and they matched pretty good. I was trying to just have like a nice dark accent thing going on. At some point, I'm gonna be refreshing the whole coolant system. I got all new lines too, so I'll make a video on that. I only just started this YouTube thing. So sadly, I didn't really record anything on this car. Under the trunk, what I did was I made this spare tire cover, because the OEM one's like a particle board type thing. And when I removed my spare tire, it would flex a lot. So I made one out of aluminum just to get it a little sturdier. I have my battery tucked behind here, so I made a door just so I could get to it if I need to disconnect anything. And I'll show you the brackets that I made as well. So removing the spare tire cover that I made and back into the trunk. This is the panel I made. And then I kind of just bent a 1-inch piece of steel and made a belt for it just to hold the battery down. Sits flush in there, like it's the top of it's underneath this surface here, so the trunk's still usable, which was my goal. You know, I didn't want to put anything up on the parcel shelf. Like, I know a lot of people who get the R34, I don't know, I guess battery holder, and it mounts right up there on the parcel shelf, but I wanted to leave that open, have everything tucked as possible. So this was the solution I came up with. Here's how it all sits in there. You wouldn't even know I had a battery or anything different going on in there. And just touching real quick on the engine bay, the first thing I ended up doing was, when I got my front mount intercooler, I cut out my battery tray, and I still have to finish all this. Like, at some point, my plan's to pull the engine out and rebuild it, but we're waiting because there's no issue with the car right now. I cut the hole, routed the lines like they said. Pipes come out, up, and then the Blitz kit doesn't provide you with this pipe, sadly, so that's still OEM. At some point, I'll make a new one. My goal is to do a top mount turbo for this car and clean all this stuff up in here, but GK Tech ABS delete, so that's just comes with the lines you need to delete the whole spaghetti monster that you have running across the back and then to the ABS module itself. So that definitely helped clean the bay up a good amount. And I also want to give a big thanks to Magnus. He's the one who hooked me up with the Aerolux bumper when he sold his S15. I was trying my best to get him to keep it, but he wouldn't do it. That's the basic rundown on my cars and where we're at right now. So as always, thank you guys for tuning in. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this week's video. Please like, comment, subscribe.